One of the biggest problems in our society today is how we accumulate stress and trauma over time. And one of the benefits of developing a somatic practice for yourself, like in the Shift to Calm Aliveness course, is that you now have the tools and the knowledge to not let that happen to you. That as things happen in life, to know how to process it, let that survival cycle complete the cycle so that it doesn't also get stored in your tissues, in your body, create the imbalances in the nervous system that you're going to have to work through later on. So in real life, how does that actually look? If you have a situation that happens, how do you not let that be another accumulated trauma, burden, and stress on your body? So I wanted to go through an example that just happened today, so it's fresh on my mind. And again, I'm so grateful that this somatic piece, this somatic practice has come into my life because it really has changed so much for me. And what happened this morning is that I was out on my morning walk and I was crossing the road with my dog, and she was just slightly ahead of me and a car almost hit her. And of course, I go into full on sympathetic, right? Fight or flight. And so I'm, yelling at the driver to stop the car. He's not paying any attention and keeps going. So I am watching this and I'm actively doing something, right? Like I'm actively shouting at him to stop. So I'm very sympathetic. And what happens is that thankfully, right, she was able to run quickly out of his way and nothing bad happened. But I get to the other side of the street and my heart is racing. My hands are sweaty. I feel that my legs are shaking and trembling a bit just from like how close of a call that was and how much energy rushed down into my muscles and my tissues in order to fight for her survival in that moment. And so what we need to do is we need to complete that cycle in order to not have that energy that was released from our nervous system into the tissues, not have that be a charge, an energy charge, because it's actually charged from the different sodium and potassium flow down the nervous system, not have that charge just sit there, because that is what creates the imbalances in the nervous system when we don't complete that. So what to do? We actually give the body time to process it. So I quickly found, I did my usual thing first. I have to admit, I did my usual thing of, oh, I'm fine, she's fine, let's just keep going. And then I started to feel the effects on my body. I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I doing, right? Like I need to let my body process this. And so I find a bench that was right there and I sit down, and you find a place to sit in a way that your body can fully relax. If you're having to still brace yourself, if you're having to still hold yourself up using your muscles in any way, then it's not going to allow this full relaxation and the completion of the cycle that your nervous system needs to do. And so you sit down in a way where your body can fully relax and fully feel and have the support of something else holding it up. And then what usually will happen is that you will, as you fully relax, you will start to shake, tremble maybe, and it can feel like you're trembling inside as that energy, that charge is being now discharged. And what happens is that with time, as you allow your body to do this, it'll do this for maybe 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes. For us in our modern world and very fast-paced schedules, it feels like forever. And it can feel frustrating to be like, oh my goodness, like, will this ever stop? Will my body continue to tremble and shake? When do I just keep moving on? Wait until, right, you get that spontaneous deep breath. And there's my spontaneous deep breath, just thinking of my spontaneous deep breath in that moment. And so as I'm sitting on the bench and I'm just letting my body surrender into that relaxation, I can feel the trembling, I can feel the shaking, my heart is still beating fast. All of that adrenaline is still rushing through my blood. And what I do next is I orient. And orient is an important piece to this completion of the trauma cycle. And orienting is looking around your environment and seeing if everything is safe. And so knowing how important it is to orient, even though I know this, right? Like I am now across the street, I'm sitting on a park bench, it doesn't matter. Our nervous system needs that information in that moment. And so I intentionally look all around me. I then look at my dog and she's, finding something in the grass. She's perfectly fine. She has no idea the danger that she just was in. But just seeing that, orienting to my environment, orienting to her, it gives my nervous system the information that it needs, so that sensory input through the eyes, that all is okay. All is well. We survived this. When we don't allow ourselves the time, the relaxation, and the orientation, our nervous system never fully gets that message of all is well. And so it stays in that hyper alert state, and that's where it becomes this stored trauma in our body. So after orienting myself to my own environment, orienting to her, then I could feel my body shifting. And it was shortly after that, about 15-30 seconds later, that my body relaxed even more. And I took my spontaneous deep breath. When I take that spontaneous deep breath, I know that my body has fully processed that survival cycle that was just activated. And now I am ready to move on, proceed with my walk, go on with my day, and my nervous system is in a good place. If I don't do this, then my nervous system stays in that hyperactive, hyper alert, hyper vigilant, bracing state. And so it makes the rest of my day be more closer to that edge of overwhelm, because I haven't brought my nervous system back down to its full baseline. So I'm looking for that spontaneous deep breath as my sign that my nervous system has shifted and I'm now ready to move on with the rest of my day, coming from a good place, right? And I have not thought about it since, until I came to do this video for you, of course. So when a situation happens, it's important to take that time and stop. Get to a place where your body can fully relax, fully surrender into that relaxation, fully surrender into the support of something else, so that the muscles can actually tremble, shake, do whatever they need to do to discharge that high sympathetic adrenaline rush that went to your muscles, telling them to move. And then you orient. And you orient to everything that you need to orient to get the message through your senses to your nervous system that all is well, all is okay. We survived this. And then you will find that spontaneous deep breath, and then you can move on with your day, knowing that you have completed it and have not just let it be one more thing that accumulates the burden, the chronic stress, and the trauma to your nervous system. All right. I hope that you will continue to implement this in your life, and hope that this concrete example can be of use to you as you start to implement your own somatic practice in your life through the tools and information you are using in the Shift to Calm Aliveness course.